Hi everybody, this is a light language transmission for the new moon in Aquarius, the 11th of February 2021. I want to talk about some themes that have been coming up around this time, particularly around the truth coming to light and things coming back into balance and alignment, and with that truth and the redemption that comes from the truth coming out and things being seen clearly, the forward movement that is then enabled from a new space and a new understanding of clarity and truth. So I'll talk a little bit about the way that information has come in so that you can apply it to your own lives, but also I've done a reading which of course completely supports this process as well, using the Lucy Cavendish Oracle of the Shapeshifters deck, which I haven't touched for a long time, years, and the Angel Answers by Radley Valentine. Firstly, there's a song there's three songs that have been in my head constantly. I'm waking up very early hours of the morning, 3 or 4 a.m. with this song in my head, and then I'm having the visions and the healing codes come in, and the main song is Taylor Swift, Open Shut Case. I'll put the link down below, and the words are really relevant. So the main words were, it's an open shut case, and there's another song that is I'm not playing by your rules. It's obvious, there's an elephant in the room. So it's about all the undercurrents that have been going on. It's also about third-party interference. So there's undercurrents, there's the deceptions, there's people trying to intervene, especially in relationships or in your movement forward or anyone's movement forward. People trying to control events, keep the status quo, direct things in the way that it serves them. And this all being, and people can feel that something's going on, but they can't put their finger on it. So there's this feeling of the deception and the manipulation that's going on being exposed. And the rest of the song with Taylor Swift's, it's called Willow, Open Shut Case. So the open shut case is, it's like it becomes exposed and then it's obvious, and then the innocent party is redeemed and set free, and then they can go on their way unimpeded without interference, not held back, not limited, not affected by others' perceptions of them. So the Taylor Swift song also is very much about relationships, and I can see it very much as a pattern that goes on in traditional relationships, but also especially within soul relationships, karmic relationships, and the twin flame dynamic of the runner-chaser, where you're still working through a lot of past life issues, and you're also clearing through family lineage and the things that have been passed down through there, and cultural influences that you're clearing through by bringing the unconditional love into it. So in her song, she's talking about how that's her man, but she's like a willow bending in the wind, in his wind, because he's not realizing that she is the train that can take him home, and she's bound to him really because this is what she's supposed to do. She's the train that's supposed to take him home, but he's picking her up and putting her down at his whim, while he carries on unconsciously, or seemingly unconsciously, manipulating and deceiving and having lots of different relationships. And then she's always there, and she's even in a cage in that video at some point, waiting to be able to move beyond this. And so this feels very much like the point where the realization happens, especially from the masculine or the one that's less conscious of the purpose of the connection. And like they wake up, it's a waking up, and it's a waking up triggered by a realization from some truth being exposed. So the way I saw this myself was I was woken at 3 a.m. There's a song in my head. This song was in my head, and I was then experiencing, I was seeing it through my third eye's visions. I was experiencing it through my crown as a knowing. I was feeling it in my body. So what happened first was I could feel the elephant in the room as such, which was this dense energy in my twins' kind of solar plexus area, and it felt associated to a third party, which was a woman. And as I just brought my awareness to kind of zooming in on what that was and exploring what that is with love, suddenly the woman revealed herself. It was someone connected to him, could have been in his family, could have been a lover or a friend, and it may have been past life or other lifetime. And they suddenly revealed that they had been lying or manipulating or just slandering, telling falsehoods, which had influenced his decisions about me, or about relationships he was in. And as he realised that his solar plexus tightened, his throat opened, I felt his crown activate and open up, and him have the epiphany and see the truth, understand the higher vision, the higher understanding, the big picture of how everything had played out and what was really going on, and aligning to the truth. And as that aligning to the truth happened, there was this feeling of wanting to knock on the door of the person who was slandered against. It looked like my door, but this is all symbolic. So it's like the open shut case was also like the closing down towards someone when there have been deceptions and misunderstandings about that person. So from your consciousness, you feel like you have a bad impression of that person, you shut down your heart, and that impression may not be based on truth. It may be based on information you've been fed, and that can be on any level, not even just people slandering or interfering, but even just cultural perceptions and ways they don't fit into what you understand, and you close your heart down and you make a no. So that's the shut, the open shut case. So the opening happens when there's this realization of the truth of who they are as a soul, or what their real intentions were, or who they really are outside of that framework of the conditioning or the expectations and realizing the connection, and then there's the opening. But of course that can then come with fear. So it's very much about the opening and shutting within the self towards other people based on social constructs or ideas coming from the mind rather than the heart, or allowing yourself to be deceived. So what carried on from that then was I saw a guillotine. So I felt my head, which was not connected to my body, reconnect to my body, and I felt amazing. And then I felt the guillotine blade release. So my head had been cut off. So I had been accused of something and punished and put to the death. Therefore, that is your whole life purpose, everything you were here for, being cut off because you're gone, you're not here anymore. So that was undone. And this is how healing works, past life healing and other lifetime healing. So as this realization happened, where it's like we're rewriting the story, and the that trauma was released. So I would expect in physical reality now, any situations where there was paranoia or fear of being accused of doing something wrong when you haven't, being punished for things that you haven't done, you're no longer holding that energy in your energy field now, so you're no longer drawing those things to you. So you can, of course, create a whole different life based on a different platform of not being punished for things that you didn't do or for being alive. And then the knocking on the door also seemed to be like an apology. So it was a restoration of the balance. It was a restoration. But you can also see that everything that may have happened in this dynamic, in this lifetime, was to bring up those traumas in order to bring them to the light to then be healed. So this feels like the healing of that. And then being able to create the new life is a really big turning point right now of creating what's coming next and letting go of the old. So I want to just actually want to read you these cards because they're so significant. And then what has happened to me after waking up from that experience in the middle of the night is several parts of the next part of my journey that had felt quite intangible and unknown started to drop in, actually started to drop into physical reality. And I felt very much clearer about them. And they opened up a whole new freedom. They were less restricted. So the scope of what I could create became larger, and there was more choice. I was less restricted in what I did and where I go and how I do it. And even the quality of what I can create within my current resources became better. So what I want to do, of course, is share these codes with you guys to clear away third-party interferences in your relationships, but also in your life moving forward at this pivotal point where we're creating the long-term next steps, and where we're really wanting to choose from our higher perspectives what that's going to be for us, how that nourishes us, what's going to nourish us the most, and what's going to also align to our higher aspects and our lower aspects, so we can be in service and we can be in unity with the higher plan, and in that divine flow where everything then flows beautifully in everyone's purposes, flow beautifully with everyone else's purposes, because it's happening at that higher level. It's happening as a co-creative unity, even if we are not conscious of that, because we're just being in our divine flow, whilst also having our needs met, our physical human needs met. So that's a really long explanation, but I know that some of you like to only hear the explanation and not the light language, so I'm getting much more comfortable with the long explanations. So the first card here, Little Owlin, I see it kind of as a where we're coming from, the understandings we're coming from, or what we're the basis of what's brought us to where we are today. And then the next one, the Delicate Fairy and her ferret, is the next step on from that, which is like basically our next step now. And then the one after that is where we're going from there. So it's like step 2, or the longer vision, more longer process that we're moving into. At the base, we've got just really the advice or the action to take, and then and which is to look for a sign, which is basically listen to what the universe is telling you, be aware to what the universe is telling you. And then at the top, that's like the higher perspective, the overarching information, and which is it's up to you. So it's your choice, and so it's up to you to listen to yourself, and to all the voices in your head and the aspects of you as to what you're bringing in and what you're releasing and what steps you're going to take, and what you actually really want. It's about listening to yourself, what kind of lifestyle you want, what kind of work you want, what kind of people you want around you. But I would like to actually read the Little Owlin now, which is again what's the basis of where we are right now, and what's the basis of that. So, wisdom is not heavy or harsh or cruelly given. Wisdom is as simple as being open and ready to receive. And if you're ready, if you've decided that you're worthy and willing to learn, this great horned owl, my other self wishes for me to give you this feather. This feather is a talisman of magic, of wisdom, and endures and can be applied again and again. Its power and wisdom will never run dry or fail to speak words of wisdom to you when you hold this feather in your mind's eye. The tide will go in and out, and the feather-light piece of wisdom remains constant. The sky will hold the moon and the stars and burn bright blue with the golden sun, and this wisdom will never fade or glow into a heavy burden, as some knowledge does. You will wonder what to do at times because you say things have changed, and this soft wisdom will speak to you again, and you will find your way. Wisdom is not heavy or crushing or forceful. This is the truth. This wisdom is soft and light and to be treasured. It's our gift to you now. Stay still, give us your hand, and feel the gift that we wish to share with you. Feel the wisdom flow into you. A piece of priceless wisdom will be learned in a very simple, very easy way. There is enough potent wisdom available for everyone. You simply need a small portion of this wisdom for it to have an immense influence in all matters. You may receive signs that the wisdom of the owl is with you, the unblinking eye, the truth teller, the one who is the friend of the goddess, from Athena to Bloodywood. It's likely that people may underestimate you or feel that because you have a light touch that you are not being taken seriously. Nothing could be further from the truth. In matters of justice, you will now be triumphant, even with the lightness of touches. You are blessed and accepted as one of the wise ones. but keep this treasure of wisdom gently, use it wisely, and know Owlin has given you a gift of justice, wisdom, transformation, and the pure power of directed intention. You are most blessed. So it's about that beautiful light gentleness of truth and honesty and trust, moving gently in the world, and the power that that has. In past times where there was a lot of darkness, you know, the witch burnings and all of that, women who had a power or had this light were misunderstood, because the light would cast light on the shadows and on the darkness. So it would bring up the darkness within people, and they would get scared. And this is why often showing your light would lead to persecution. And I feel that that's what's come up, and that's what we're healing collectively now, as through my experience, like that guillotine blade being undone. The darkness in people having resolved enough that they realise that that light is not dangerous, it's beautiful. That danger of being misunderstood and persecuted kind of being pulled out of the collective consciousness now, out of the collective energy, being healed and being redeemed. And the word that I kept hearing whilst I was having that vision and those codes coming in was redemption. You are redeemed. Innocence is restored. So that's where we're coming from, is being able to really embody that wisdom as light as a feather. In the current environment, to make the change, and it's required now to make the change as we move into higher vibrational reality. So the next one, the delicate fairy and her ferret. Change is natural, good, and yes, it can hurt. So this is us now really confidently stepping into an environment of change, which obviously has been forced on us in some ways with the current pandemic and lockdowns and things like that. It's forcing us to go internal, it's enforcing us to make changes, and it can be scary and it can hurt. So let me read it to you. We change, we alter ourselves, we adapt, we choose, we become. You are now being shown a way and gifted magical tools to strengthen you while you develop your skills. You're also being sent a trusted companion to guide you through the deep forests of change. You feel very vulnerable and there is fear in your heart, but why would there not be? Life is full of transitions, shifts and epic moments where we can choose between our best self and the tired and conditioned, most often defeated self. In these times of change, there is no map, no guidebook, no previous knowledge to comfortably fall back on. One cycle has ended. When a cycle changes, or when we choose to create change consciously, courageously, by challenging our limited self-beliefs, questioning our attachment to truths, releasing our attachment to the way in which our lives should manifest, we're either by choice or by contract undergoing an initiation. All initiations are in some way difficult because they ask us to step out of what we call our comfort zone and into the new, the unfamiliar and the unexpected in order to expand the self. A new friend, advisor or piece of information will empower you. You must now shift the focus from what you fear, what you wish to become, and face what it is that is frightening you needlessly. It will not kill you. It might hurt a bit, but so worth it. And so in my vision, there was a piece of information. Someone stepped up and the truth was revealed, and that is what opened up and shifted everything, and changed the cycle, and opened up the scope of what can be created from a new platform. So the last one is the Dragonling Garden, A New World is Born, which is perfect. It's exactly what's been coming through, exactly what's going on in the collective at the moment. And dragons are so powerful. They're so great at cleaning up all the interference and all the bad intentions and all the toxicity like radiation and EMFs and all the darkness. So I've had a lot to do with dragons lately. They're so powerful and so helpful. So this is like the tiny little dragon. A new world is born. In a new world we will live together, the Fae, as am I who speaks with you now, the animals who gather about the newborn in one in the magical grove, and you, the children of the new earth. This grove is a womb, nature's sacred temple of the great goddess and God, and in this place we're caring for the newborn magical ones, and witness the return of the dragons. All that we feared lost from the world is returning. All that we thought impossible to hope for another day has come back to us. The whole world is singing, is in love, because the rebirth of magic is taking place. We cannot live without magic. We cannot live without the dragons, the trees, the animals, the fae, and the humans all somehow living together. Now the dragons have entrusted their babies to us. We know the world can be rebirthed too. Through this time of hardship you've come, and you too, like the entire planet and all of her creatures, are reborn. We rejoice in this great blessing. They've come back to us. We sing our joy to this world, and you too will feel the happiness of the heart of Gaia, hear the bells ringing out at every birth, and know once again we live in the times of legend. You've claimed your place in the world, reborn and tender, yet strong and honourable. The elders feel that as you represent the possibilities of humanity and have learned the lessons of the changing ones, the shapeshifters, that you have understood that while you're reborn, the truth is the very world herself is reborn. You now must shift the focus from the self alone and into the we, the us, the bond between all. You will not lose yourself again as you once thought you would. Know now the world's future has changed. The time you've been waiting for is now, and you must choose something bigger than the one self to walk with now, something transcendent. You must shift the focus from the old self, for that self has fallen away and died, and here you are anew. If you shift the focus from the old self and the thousand petty worries and complaints that we can conjure up, should we wish to, you will be of service, you will do kind things, you will be cared for. There is no further need to worry, only to live well and in kindness and serving something greater. When you've chosen to do this, something truly miraculous will take place. The people and beings of the old world will fade away, and in your new world will be happiness, bliss and enthralling contentment. Now we are free. So I love how it emphasises the freedom, and it also emphasises the vulnerability of sort of starting something new and being new, being a new creature yourself, having released all of the old things that were oppressing you and the old conditioning and expectations, and really honing who you are at your core and who you want to be, what you want to be doing, and the vulnerability of that and the vulnerability of starting all over again. So I want to just bring some codes in now, and I've got some celestite with us, which really brings the angelic help in and connects to the higher multidimensional realms, and the orange calcite, which is helps with the sacral chakra. So that's going to help with what you're creating in the world and what you're letting go of, and the connections of the people around you, who you're connected to, and aligning those to the connections that are true for you and away from anybody that's been deceiving or manipulating, or in the level of service to self rather than intention of unity and working together. The interesting thing is I've been watching a series on TV, which is a fantasy series, and it's quite dark. I don't usually watch dark things. It's about vampires coming out of the closet and revealing themselves. So again, very connected to the whole theme of this reading. And then as they reveal themselves and want to work together with humans and have the same rights and have peace. And there's a synthetic blood product provided so they don't have to eat humans. So it's all very moving into a new world of unity, and all the magical creatures coming out, because as the vampires start to reveal themselves, then the werewolves and the shapeshifters and the fairies all start to show themselves, and there's all this interplay as the change happens and people start to adjust to all this that they didn't know what was going on and didn't know existed, and how they coexist together. And obviously there's a lot of the old themes of bigotry and racism and all of that kind of thing coming out, and it's quite violent, but the themes very interesting, very interesting. So I'm going to bring some light language through now. So we're aligning to all these themes of the truth being revealed, it being safe again to be magical, to be light, to be bright, to be multidimensional, to be telepathic, to be psychic, for that to be accepted in the world, and to use that in a positive way towards unity, healing the past, so it can be let go of, so we can move into our new lives that match us perfectly individually, and also match fit perfectly into the collective. Akachaka satoko toko choboko sotoko botaka taka chiketaka satoko boko toko choboko tasataka taka toko koko choboko toko boko to asataka choboko sotoko botaka takitoko toko chobosaka bataka taka toko boko toto bataka bataka toko boko akachasaka taka katoko koko chobosoko toko botoko koko koko. We're working on the change at the moment as we're stepping into change, and the fact that can hurt even though it's natural and good. So it's that central piece in the middle of the spread. Akachokoko sotokoko, and I'm feeling the orange calcite come in to assist with the change. Akachokoko sotokobotoka chikabataka satakakaka, and all the butterflies in the card. Akachokoko sotokobotoka chikabataka satakabakataka kokotoko choboko sotokobotoko. Asachakabataka satakabataka chikoko sotoboko choboko sotokobotoko kokotoko. Asatakabataka sotabataka choboko sotoboko toboko choboko. Asakataka I'm feeling a membrane, like a shield over the sternum, over the heart, being activated, and like releasing, dissolving, because it's an achy feeling. So if you feel an achy feeling, just allow it. It's and then in the jaw as well. So it's allowing the light to shine through, because it's safe now, and it's needed to shine the light on the path forward. I'm seeing the heart light shining the way through the dark, shining the path, shining the steps, which also brings up, look for a sign at the base there. Akachokoko sotokoboko toko chokoko sotokobotoko choko sotokoboko toko chopoko toko sotokoboko toko chokoboko sotokoko toboko koko. Akataka chakatataka koko sotokoboko taka chopoko sotokobotoko koko. Feel the base of the spine, the sacrum area strengthening, and lining up properly, so it's not skewing anyway, so it's lining up, pointing towards the ground, so that it's grounding the energy. Akachoko, almost like a rudder. Akachoko sotoko botoko toko choko sotabaka toko chobo soko toko botaka toko chobo. And then the energy pouring down both legs and into the feet chakras and into the earth. Akachoko, it's a golden energy. Akachoko. Akachokopatako toko chobo sotaka bakataka kachoko. Asakachoka katako botoko choko sotaka bataka choko toko. Asakachokataka sataka bataka choko sotoko botoko koko toko choko boko sotaka bakatako ko. Asakataka choko boko sotaka bataka choko bakataka sotaka toko toko. Akachasaka bataka ko toko choko sotaka bataka katoko koko. ko. Akacha sakabutaka katako koko kotoko chuboko. Akacha sakabutaka katoko koko sotoko butoko toko sotopakataka ka. Asakachakabutaka satapako toko chosotopaka takaboko. Akacha sakabutaka katoko ko sokotoko butoko sotokabutaka ko. Asakataka butoko sotoko butaka chukoboko takachubaka satakabutaka koko toko boko koko toko chuboko sotokoboko. Seeing the rabbit in the dragonling garden. Rabbits to me represent fear, but they also represent fertility. So we're working with the fear. And now I'm seeing how the fertility, you know how they proliferate. There's thousands of them really quickly. So it's about the conductivity of the light, how the light shining on the others around you can enlighten them and like it's contagious, like they open up and become enlightened. So instead of we're all scared of the contagiousness of the darker things at the moment, but this is the contagiousness of the light. And then I'm seeing the deer, which is gentleness. Gentleness, innocence. And so the squirrel now, which is the planning and the running around getting all the things you need to prepare. Storing the things you need, collecting the things you need, collecting the resources. Sapataka akatakachabokoto apatakacho atakocho asatakakaka satapakaka satakakaka. So there's this feeling of the hara line, or the midline, moving down through the heart now, like it was stuck at the solar plexus area there, which I'm associating with the manipulation and the programming from third parties, and third parties can be society, conditioning. So as it's cleared that and then it's cleared the solar plexus, the divine truth and the divine purpose starts to move down like a pole through your center. And we've already aligned the back, the lower back, as the rudder. So we're now connecting the heart to the rudder. So I'm getting the wisdom of the owl now, and I'm seeing the eyes of the owl seeing through the dark, and a really huge third eye connected to the seeing in the dark. And then I'm seeing the dragon almost seeing through the eyes of the owl, so it's acting as telepathically as an assistant to the owl, to what's seen and to what the direction forward is. And anything that's dark, the dragon is coming in and clearing it, clearing obstructions and interference out of the way, so that the eyes of the owl, of the third eye, is seeing any of it, seeing through the darkness and seeing anything in the way, and the dragon is immediately acting on it and clearing the path, clearing the obstacles. So now we're on the it's up to you card at the top there, saying it's up to you to you've got all these tools and resources with you now. It's up to you to set the intention, move forward and take the required action. Bring in the energy of the Celestite now. Feeling the throat activating. The womb activating. And if you're a man, it's still the collective womb, which is the etheric womb, which is the creative portal. Feeling wings coming out the back. That gentleness of the deer and the peace of the dove. Akachokoko atokopotoko akachokopotoko tokosotokopoko akachokasatapoko tokokokokokokokokokokokokokokoko. There's an expansion at the back of the body as the past is being cleared, and you can extend backwards. Your light can extend backwards into what's behind you as well as forwards into what's in front of you. Okay. And I'm seeing the beach, and I'm seeing the horizon. It's like that fresh energy of the ocean and the sky and the horizon. It's open and it's vast. Yeah. Okay, so I hope you can all receive that well. It does pay to listen to it a few times because it goes a level deeper every time. If you see certain visions come up or feel certain impressions similar to what I described that I experience when I wake up in the middle of the night, or similar to what people experience in meditations, do trust it and do accept the codes that come through those as well. Drink a lot of water and give yourself time and space to move all of that through and receive it. Blessings, everybody.